Okay, Cassie, 2 years into the Marketing Happy Hour podcast. How are we feeling? How are we doing today?
I was talking to my husband earlier about the fact that it's been 2 years, and he was like, "It feels like it's been longer." And I agree because I just feel like we've been doing so much and we've launched so many things and talked to so many people. So it's felt longer, but it's also, I don't know, it's wild. How do you feel?
No, I totally agree. I think part of that's probably because we say we're on like season 7 because we used to do those like
Right.
2-month seasons, and now we're doing this season 7 for the whole year of 2023. So it definitely has felt like a long time, and we've had a lot of really good conversations, especially this year. We're gonna get to in a minute the list of our top 10 episodes so far. And a lot of them have even taken place this year, which is crazy to me. But yeah, I'm just excited and I'm just thrilled to be like at the 2-year mark. Most podcasts don't make it past the 1-year mark. I think we said that in our 1-year episode. And so just thinking back to where we were 2 years ago and how much we've grown since then, both individually and together with this podcast, is crazy to me.
I know. It's been wild, but so good, so grateful, and lots more to come in the future.
Yes. Okay. So, what has been filling your glass literally lately? What have you been sipping on?
Yeah, so I have been really enjoying happy hour tequila seltzers, and I had never tried these before. And typically I don't go for a tequila seltzer, but these
Yeah.
are so fantastic. And so I've been loving those, and also Aveline wine. Their team sent us some of their wine varietals, and those have been so wonderful. I believe they're just very clean, and you don't
Mhm.
feel like you're eating or you're drinking chemicals. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. I love it. So those are my 2 that I've been loving recently, but what about you?
Totally with you on Aveline. We had one of their team members on the show actually, and it was so fun to chat with Kelly and just learn about performance marketing and their growth strategies. So if you haven't yet, definitely go back and listen to that episode. But definitely agree with you. Aveline has always been, since they launched, one of my favorite wine brands. And so it was exciting and pretty surreal to just, get some PR from them. And have one of their team members on the show. But I've also been enjoying, in terms of wine, Maker Wine sent us a
Mm.
few of their canned varieties, and I am a huge orange wine girly, and they have a skin contact can, and the can is so cute. I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
this is adorable. I need to put it on my story." Um, and so I've been drinking that, love that. And Tip Top Proper Cocktails actually is a brand that I came across a few years ago. One of my friends picked up a little Negroni can for me. They're like mini cans of classic cocktails. One of my friends picked up a mini Negroni because she knows it's my favorite cocktail. And I loved it then. And we are actually partnering with them as of recently. We've had Neil on our podcast. He is one of the co-founders of that brand. And so it's been super cool to hear the brand story and just learn a little bit more about that brand, knowing that I've loved it for the past couple years. They also have an excellent espresso martini that I tried for the first time on Delta Airlines when I was flying to Seattle earlier this year. And now that is my go-to espresso martini when I don't want to make it myself. It's so good, and I highly, highly recommend.
Oh
So.
my gosh. Yes, I am absolutely obsessed with Tip Top. They have the cutest little cans. It's so funny. We had friends over the other day and they picked one up. They're like, "I didn't realize how cute and tiny these are." They're
Oh
literally
my gosh.
just one serving. They're perfect
Yeah.
for just a quick little glass of your favorite drink. And I agree, the espresso martini, I think you and I both are espresso martini snobs, and we can say that their espresso martini is fantastic. So I
It is really
completely agree.
good.
We're absolutely loving their stuff. But Erica, what has been filling your glass metaphorically?
Oh, such a great question. I would never even know that I wrote it. I I've been seeing a lot of really awesome brand partnerships lately, especially this summer as we gear up for the Barbie movie. There's just so many things that are coming to light, so many partnerships that Barbie is doing, and it's just super fun to see that. And I'm just very curious to know, like, what their marketing budget looks like because this is a like feat of marketing and brand partnerships and all of that good stuff. And it's just so cool to see. I know they were doing cafes in a few different cities where you could go and get like a Barbie drink. And now I think they just launched the Barbie Dream Home. They're going to invite some influencers. So fun stuff like that. And then Sweet Green is doing some really, really cool things with their post salad treats. So they're partnering with a lot of like local uh, bakeries or ice cream places to like doing, but I think it's like if you bring your salad receipt, you like get something for free. Really know what they're doing, but
Yeah,
that's really
cool.
cool. And then I'm seeing a lot of other like co-branded things, which is something that we talked about earlier this year being like a huge thing that we're going to see. I know Chamberlain Coffee just launched a dry shampoo with IGK. There's been some really fun collaboration. One of my clients, my consulting clients, actually, Art of Sucra, they did a collaboration with Yes Way Rosé and a collaboration with 818 Tequila. So they're
My
really
gosh.
busy doing it, but basically it's like the year of brand collaborations and I'm living for it because that is what I love so much. So what about you, Cass? What have you seen lately that's filling your glass?
Yeah, no, same. I'm so glad you mentioned Barbie because I am so stoked to see that movie. I think it comes out next month, and just all the marketing they put into it has certainly made me want to see the movie even more. So it's working. And so cool to see what they've done with that. But for me, my what's been filling my glass metaphorically is actually TikTok, which is so
Oh my
interesting
gosh.
to admit because I wouldn't have said this like a year ago if you would have listened to our year recap. But I've been really intrigued by diving into TikTok and kind of what's been working for different brands and people. I know we've been watching Sophia Richie completely take TikTok by storm and just kind of break down what she's been doing. And she's really allowed people to connect with her like she's talking to them as a friend on FaceTime. And it's just been really cool to be able to take those learnings and translate them into other brands and just really creating that deep connection one-to-one with the audience. And my husband has been very much using TikTok a lot. And so he's really gotten excited about it and has taught me a lot about running ads and things like that. And then I just helped him go live for the first time last night. And that was actually so much fun. So I'm getting very excited about TikTok. And I personally do not manage any social media channels for anyone. I'm not a huge fan of it, but even just for myself and just maybe if I feel like running some TikTok channels for a brand, I have some new strategies I'm looking to try. So that's what's been filling my glass lately.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun. And I would have not thought that you would say that. So it's so
I
interesting to me.
know.
I want to see him on live. I should have seen him
Oh, it
last
was
night. Oh
hilarious. It was so funny.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. Okay, well, I want to hear what you're up to lately in your career. I mean, I know personally, but our listeners might not. And we back in the day, like a year ago, we were totally in a different place. And I think even a couple months ago, we made an episode where we were talking about how we're not quite sure what the next step is. So Cass, tell me about what you're doing now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I'm not going to lie, 2023 so far, we're in June right now to timestamp this episode, and it's been a challenging year. I mean, Erica, you and I have talked about all of the challenges thus far, and I feel like I'm finally kind of getting on the other side of that. And I've made a lot of changes in terms of the people I'm working with and how much work I'm taking on. I am a chronic overworker, which is it has a little bit of a benefit to it, but I also just I work too much and I say yes to a lot of things. So I'm teaching myself to say no more and to remove the things out of my professional life that do not serve me any longer. And I think that's been a hard lesson to learn, and it has resulted in a lot of the challenges of this year, but I feel so much better coming out on the other side of it. I've already had people tell me, you seem happier, you seem a lot
Mhm.
less busy all the time and
Yeah.
you're not working at 10 p.m. anymore on the weekends as much. And that has been not only for myself to feel that personally, but for other people to take notice, because I did not want other people to look at me in my life and think, wow, Cassie only does work and that's only what she cares about. That's never what I wanted to be known for. And so
Sure.
that's been huge. I also just launched a new website. I'm making a shift in the offerings I'm providing to clients and the services. And so that's been really exciting to work on that. And it's in still the editing phases, and I'm kind of working on refining that, but that's been really exciting. So how about you?
Oh, that's so cool, and I totally resonate with that. I have seen just a shift in just your life. I feel like you're having a lot more fun and just enjoying life now, which is amazing. I'm so happy for you, and I'm glad that you kind of, like, narrowed down what you were wanting to offer to people and knowing what you don't wanna offer to people as well. So, I'm excited to see where your journey takes you next, but same here. I'm kind of still on the journey of like, what am I doing next? So I have a couple consulting clients still that I've had since August of last year. I am either looking to take on more for the remainder of this year or go back brand side. I think I miss like the collaboration of an office environment, not necessarily in person, doesn't have to be in person, but just like having the same coworkers that you're interacting with every day and like bouncing ideas off of them is something that like I thrive on. And in the world of consulting, it's kind of hard when, like, you're not totally attached to each business that you're working with, or if you're just, like, having a call with them once a month, like, it's just hard because I have so many ideas and I'm like, "Let's do this and let's do it all together," but they're like, "No, we only have 1 call a month." So, that's been an interesting journey for me, but, we'll see what happens. I'm kind of applying to jobs, so I guess I would say I'm open for hire. I should be on our own, channel. I should be on
We
our bonus
should.
episode. I'll do a bonus episode for myself. No.
We
Uh,
should. No, seriously, we'll do it. Stay
oh my
tuned for
gosh, so
that.
funny. But I'm also exploring some other options, just moving on in my educational journey. I'm exploring law school or my MBA, mostly law
What?
school. I think that I know you don't know that
What?
yet. Yeah, not a lot of people know that. So I am taking a class in the fall to study for the LSAT. And so we'll see what happens there. I don't know. I mean, that's always been a dream of mine, but we'll see what comes along before then or after then. But basically what I'm trying to say is if you don't know what you're doing and you're out there and you're just not sure what the next step is in your career, that's totally fine. I think everybody is
Yes.
in that position at least once or more in their career. And so I'm just excited to see what's next. So
Oh my
that's
gosh.
my that's what's going on with me.
Holy cow, breaking news. I'm trying not to like overly express my excitement slash like I have so many questions. We'll get to that off record. But no, I'm so glad that you said that, because I think, and we've talked about this before on the show, but I think it's so important just to be open to allow yourself to pivot and change what you're doing, because if something didn't serve you in the past or isn't serving you currently, you have to be open to allowing yourself to make a change. And even if it's something that's completely out of the norm and is completely different from what you've done in the past, I think you'll be so grateful to yourself for making that decision. Because you and I have both talked about this, but allowing yourself to stay stuck in these situations where you're facing burnout or unhappiness or whatever it is has major long-term impact on you and
Yeah,
in a negative direction. And so if you do not get out of that situation, you will be dealing with the repercussions for a long time. And so I think
totally.
you and I have both kind of experienced that over the last year, 2 years of just making big changes to allow ourselves to just feel freedom and a lack of burden in our lives personally and professionally. And I would encourage you to do the same. You know, if you're out there and you're just facing a lot of unhappiness in your career or your job, just be open to making a change and be open to making that pivot. And I promise you, and I'm sure Erica could say the same thing, that it is so worth it.
100%. And I think that kind of goes into our next question too of like, how have you grown since we started this podcast personally and professionally? I feel like we kind of just answered that, but just to echo you, Cassie, I think I was at the point of burnout in August of last year. I left my corporate job. It was paying me really well. And I was like at this, point where I was like, I can't do this anymore just for the paycheck. And it was tough. I had money saved, obviously, um, but, money runs out and you have to have, like, a plan in place, and so I was trying for a long time to figure out what that plan was, and getting some clients has been great, but I just think for the future, I would rather do something where I know what I'm getting to every day when I wake up, and I can leave it there and, have my life outside of work be totally separate from work. Because as it is right now, I'm still always thinking about my clients, like, always thinking of new ideas, always, just have my mind on work, and so that's kind of what I wanna get out of. But we'll see what happens, if I do go to law school, it'll be something that I want to do, long term. I wanna do this for the rest of my career. So having to decide, is that what I wanna do for the rest of my life is kind of tricky, kind of challenging.
Can't wait to see everything that happens in the future. But yeah, just growth, I think, to reiterate that, just making the decisions to move on or to make changes again, just to step into something that serves you. Again, I think it's so huge, and I could not say that enough. So that's so important. But Erica, any additional pieces of advice you'd give to marketing professionals right now? I know we've passed on a lot of different knowledge or insight or lessons learned so far, but anything else you'd add for marketing professionals right now?
Yeah, I think network, network, network. I feel like it's drilled into you in like college and things, but after college, you're kind of like, what do I do now? Do I need to continue to network? And I think the answer is yes, go to industry events, sign up for community groups on, Facebook or, LinkedIn or whatever. Just get involved and get around people who are in your same industry and can kind of bounce ideas off of one another. I know one of the Slack channels I'm in is sponsored or put on by a influencer marketing tool called Aspire, and that's just an awesome place. It's called The Coffee Shop. It's an awesome place where people can connect and ask questions and get, feedback and weigh in from people who are doing the same thing that they're doing. It might be a little more insightful on different topics or whatever the case may be. So I just say network as much as possible.
Another one that just came to mind, I think, for me, and something I wish someone would have told me when I was starting out in my career, is get experience presenting and speaking in front of your team, in front of other people. I think for me, that is something that I was so uncomfortable doing for a very long time in my career. And it's something that's so important, having the confidence to stand up and present your thoughts, your ideas, is so important. And then also it just serves you for future opportunities. Let's say you get asked to present at, I don't know, South by Southwest or something. You have that experience presenting to audiences and to internal team members. And so I think just getting comfortable answering questions, sharing ideas, things like that, is so huge. And podcasting is a really great way to do that. So maybe ask to be on some shows and to just, that's a great way to connect and to network as well. But I think just getting comfortable, getting out there, sharing, presenting, speaking to a number of different types of audiences is so huge, and something I personally wish I was told back in the day.
Oh, same. That's a really good one. Okay, let's run through really quickly our top 10 episodes in these past 2 years and give a little insight as to why someone should listen to them. These are our top 10 as of Tuesday, June 27th, but it might change in between now and when we're posting this episode. But To kick it off, our top performing episode is How to Be a Confident Marketer in 2023. That is an episode with Barry of Auntie Anne's and Jamba, and she just shares some incredible insight around social media and just like being that confident marketer, just like Cassie was just saying, getting experience speaking or sharing your ideas, raising your hand in rooms where you might not normally, and just getting all of the experience you possibly can. That episode is actually really incredible. Like I just listened to it recently and I was like, oh, I understand why this is one of our top performing episodes. So highly encourage somebody to listen to that one.
That was such a good episode, and I need to go back and listen to it again too myself. But number 2 on our list is leaning into your brand's community with Kennedy and Mary Ralph of Daily Drills. And this is such a fun conversation from 2 best friend founders who created this awesome lifestyle clothing brand together. And so just hearing their strategies for launching new products, building a brand on their own was really cool. And one of the biggest things that they emphasized was SMS marketing, which I know we don't talk a lot about on the show. We should definitely talk about it more, but it was really cool to hear insights from them about how that's worked for them, especially when it comes to product launches.
Oh, totally. And they're just such a fun pair. It was so fun to talk to them because they were like, yeah, we just kind of, did it. And if we knew what we know now, we might not have done it. So here we are in
Yep.
this very successful business that, they just created because they had this amazing idea. And I think Cassie and I pretty, resonate with that pretty well. So it was really fun to chat with them. But our third top performing episode is Product Marketing 101, your go-to-market toolkit with Jalen of Rare Beauty. Rare Beauty is one of our favorite brands. So we were kind of starstruck or in awe to have somebody from their team on our show. But she talked a lot about product launches and just kind of taking a product to market. So we chatted through their recent highlighter launch, and they actually sent over their highlighter and it is fabulous. I don't even think I'll ever need another highlighter. Like this is it. So that was really fun to hear the behind the scenes of, how they kind of launched that, what they did with influencers, what they did at the retail level. And so it's a really great listen if you are in a business or working with a company that launches physical products. That's a fantastic listen.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they've done some great work. And even just on the nonprofit level, the give back efforts that they've made with the Rare Impact Fund and what they're doing there, I think that's a great lesson for any brand listening, how you can infuse that into your marketing and just overall business initiatives in general. Okay, so number 4, we have Content Marketing 101, creating an effective social media presence with Elise of Wine Enthusiast. And this is another one of our favorite brands, just overall, being just beverage fanatics over here. And the reason our podcast is called Marketing Happy Hours, just for that reason. And so it was really awesome to hear from Elise, especially on a publication side of things, how they've built the brand on social media and just created a really strong community of wine lovers. So it was really fun to hear that conversation that you had, Erica, with Elise.
Yeah, and she's so great, and she, like, really gets me because we were both English majors, so we just had a really fun time chatting with each other, and I had a great time learning from her. Number 5 on our list, I think we've said every time, "This is one of our favorite brands," but really, they are, like, our favorite brands. It's so fun. Number 5 is Performance Marketing 101 with Alex of Later Media. You might be familiar with Later. They post some incredible social content, very topical on what's happening in the social media landscape and just marketing in general. And they also have a platform where you can schedule posts. They do like the link in bio and everything. And just hearing from her on how they are, growing their user base with performance marketing was really fun. It's a really great episode to tune into if you don't know a lot about performance marketing or growth marketing in general. I learned a lot. It's not the area of marketing that I have specialized in the past. So it was interesting to hear her strategies there and kind of learn from her too.
Yeah, agreed. And just looking at this list too, it's so cool. And we'll continue here in a second, but it's so cool to see how diverse this list of content is. And you're right, performance marketing is something for me as well that I'm not as savvy in. So it was really awesome to hear her insight, especially from a brand that has built such a strong reputation and community around it. And so next episode here that we have to add to our list is another unique topic so far, and that's PR 101 Set Yourself Apart with Alice of ACP Management. I know we got over Alice's episode so much on this show, but it truly is such a fantastic conversation. And I look up to Alice so much in the career that she's built, the relationships, and she is just such a fantastic professional and just person in general. And so highly recommend going to check that out. But she talked a lot about just creating a great brand to influencer connections, choosing talent, but also creating balance in life, building a successful brand and business. And so really stoked that we had her on the show. And I have a feeling we may have her back. So looking forward to that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I am such a fangirl of Alice. I like follow her and I every time I think she's one of the first people that like pops up on my page whenever she posts something because I just like her stuff so much. So totally loved hearing from her and I'm excited to chat with her again. I hope that she can come back on the show soon. But number 7 is content creation and the future of digital with Ashley of L'Oreal. She works on the Lancome brand. This was such a fun conversation. I think we talked in this episode about the metaverse quite extensively, and we were just speculating. So it would be fun to go back and hear what we were thinking about when it comes to the metaverse back then, because I think we thought it was going to be this huge thing right away. And as we've seen this year unfold since they kind of like unveiled their new branding to be Meta, or Facebook unveiled their new branding to be Meta, and that was such the buzz at the time. We've kind of seen a little bit of drop off, I think, in the world of the metaverse, at least people talking about it. They're more talking about AI now. And even that is not so, prevalent as much as we thought it was going to be right away. So it's pretty interesting. I want to go back and hear what we were chatting about during that episode. So I have to go back and listen.
Yeah, no, same. It was a great conversation. Ashley is so good at what she does, and I've known Ashley for a very long time, and so it's just been awesome to see how her career has developed as well. And she shared some really fantastic career insight. And also, again, June 2023, she just got a job promotion like last week or something, and so super excited for her and just to see what she's been doing in her career. But going into episode number 8 here on our list is brand marketing and positioning 101 with Devin of Betty Buzz. I absolutely loved this conversation so much. Devin is so cool and so smart and so good at what she does. And I unfortunately was sick while this episode was being recorded, but I was sitting on the recording and I wanted to interject so bad and just chat with Devin and say, give her kudos for everything she was sharing. But Devin, you are amazing. And again, just really fantastic seeing how they've built a brand from the ground up with Blake Lively by their side. And so really enjoyed that one as well.
Totally. And as a brand marketing nerd, it was like my favorite conversation to have. We talked a lot about like being where your brand is supposed to be. So they were talking about some partnerships that Betty Buzz has been a part of, being at Coachella and all of those fun activations. So definitely a fun listen. Number 9 is actually one of our friends in Tampa. So this is so exciting that she's on this list of our top performing episodes. She is incredible. She works with a ton of local restaurants, just like doing brand photography and just branding and marketing. So hers is telling a cohesive brand story. It's Melissa of Food X Feels. She also has a podcast that's really fun listen, Sunday Sauce. She's awesome. And we talked a lot about branding in this episode too. So it was really fun. Anyone who knows me and Cassie really knows that we love a cohesive brand experience across the board at a restaurant, a hotel, whatever it may be. I have a whole collection of matchbooks and pens from cute places that I've been across the country, and actually across the world. I guess I can count Iceland. So, it was really fun to just hear someone who's in that every day working with these local restaurants or hotels or other hospitality, businesses on just creating these experiences that leave a lasting impression with, those who experience it. And so definitely highly recommend listening to that episode. Melissa's awesome, and we need to get happy hour with her soon.
I know, I know. It's really cool to see her on this list because we have a lot of awesome big names here on our top 10 list, but Melissa is more of a localized servicer. She has clients a couple different places throughout the country, but just really cool to see how great of a career she's built, and she's so good at what she does. And so really wonderful to have her on the list here. Last but certainly not least, we have Experiential and Event Marketing 101 plus a conversation on thoughtful leadership with Amy of previously at Magnolia. And Amy was absolutely fantastic. I know we've said that about every single one on this list, but one thing that stood out to me about her conversation was just the importance of attention to detail and how every single element of your brand experiential events or even just touch points with customers are so incredibly important, and the customers are paying attention to those, and those are what make a lasting impression with the customer. And in addition to that, I loved her conversation on leadership. That's something, again, that we don't talk a whole lot about on the show, but we certainly should. But I personally think that a leadership position, or even the idea of leadership, doesn't necessarily come with a position or a hierarchy or a title. I think you can stand out and be a leader in any position that you're in, no matter what level of your career. And so it was really awesome to hear how she recommends making an impact in terms of leadership and stepping up. And then when you go to manage teams and you are a quote unquote leader, how you can do that effectively as well. So I loved that conversation with her.
Same here. Amy is a fabulous person, and it was so cool to just hear from her. She transitioned her career from a sports involvement into marketing, and she's gotten to work with the whole Magnolia team over the past many years, and just hearing that experience was so cool. Just knowing that I'm a huge Magnolia fan, and so is my mom. So it was just such a surreal moment to chat with somebody on that team. So definitely recommend that episode. And okay, the last thing on our list here to talk about for this 2-year celebration episode is what's next for Marketing Happy Hour. So a couple things. We do have an email list that we're going to be more heavily pouring into. One of our goals this year is to connect with everyone on a platform that's outside of the social media platforms. So that for us is going to be email. We have a link in the show notes for you to sign up for our email list. That's where we share some job opportunities that we find, anything that's filling our classes that week. Cassie usually shares a little memento or story of what is happening, just in her world or in her brain every week. So that's fun to read. At least for me, I look forward to that every week. I'm like, oh, what does she have to say this week? And usually we just encourage people to respond to those emails and just let us know what they're loving, what they want to hear on the show, all of that stuff. So definitely sign up for our email list. And then Cassie, you want to talk about our MHH Insiders community on Geneva?
Yes. Yeah. No, definitely encouraging everyone to connect off of social. And that goes into Geneva, which I guess you might be able to consider that a social media platform. I'm not really sure where that falls, but it's similar to Slack if you've not been on there before. And it just allows all of our fellow marketers and community to connect with one another, introduce themselves, talk about challenges or wins or things that they're experiencing in their careers and in their lives. And so would love to have you there. We'll drop the sign up link in the show notes here. And so definitely check that out and join us on that community as well.
Yes, and then, I just put this in the outline, and Cassie doesn't even know that I'm about to offer this to people, but, um, we are searching for people to review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, so we have a few extra marketing happy hour logo stickers that are just really fun. It's just our logo and in those fun colors that we have, um and so if you leave a review on your favorite podcast platform and you take a screenshot and send it to us, I think maybe via DM at Marketing Happy HR on Instagram, we will go ahead and send you a sticker or two. We'll figure out the logistics later, but I just want to put it out there. If you want to leave a review and send us a screenshot, you can get a sticker. So how fun is that? Love that.
I love that. Great idea. Yes, I did not know about this, but I think it's fantastic. So definitely do that. We'd love to have you have a sticker and just enjoy that or use it to spread the word about Marketing Happy Hour. But we really appreciate your review just overall. And yeah, excited to get you those. But that is it for today's conversation, Erica. This was so fun. I always love these recap slash celebration episodes where we're celebrating a milestone or what have you. And so super fun to chat all things just 2 years that we've experienced so far. And so this was a great conversation and excited for the years to come.
Absolutely. And I just want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our listeners, honestly. I say it a few times in previous episodes where I'm like, oh, the only person that listens to this is my mom, so whatever. But that's not true. And it's just so interesting and just amazing to see all of the feedback that we get just around our episodes, our guests, things that we're talking about. So if you have feedback, please reach out to us. We love connecting with you. We want to hear what you want to hear on the podcast. We want to know what you're loving about it. So please reach out to us. We love chatting with you, and we really appreciate you listening to our show.
Yes, I will reiterate exactly what Erica said. We're so grateful. So thanks for being here. And if there's anything you want to hear or listen to on the show, certainly let us know. Connect with us. We're just excited to meet you and to hear about your experience in marketing. And yeah, more to come. So stay tuned.
Cheers to 2 years.